You know, I really thought I was done with talking about Black Clover until it was over. Last year, I made videos talking about the huge bold move by Tabata regarding his Lucius reveal in the hiatus, as well as talking about why this series deserved its comeback in terms of reception, and also talking about various things from the anime to its usage of cliches. After that, I felt I did as much as I could for the series without overdoing it, and felt the next time I was going to talk about it was going to be when we say goodbye. Yet here I am once again talking about the story in its final stages once more. If you've been around enough, it's safe to say that I can be classified as a very constructive and positive person, and one of the things I take pride in doing is giving credit when it's due. Chapter 354 once again moved the needle of hype and excitement as Judgment Day has arrived within the Clover Kingdom, and man was there a lot to unpack in that chapter. Before I get to that in the main portion of this video, however, I want to first go ahead and say that the content within the Land of the Sun was very solid, all things considered. One of the things that really helps the flow of a story is pulling away from a group of characters for a while, and that's pretty much what took place with the focus on Asta and the Land of the Sun away from those in the Clover Kingdom. The country added a very good mix of world building with a unique power system like the Heart Kingdom with Zeton and its own independent political background similar to the Spade Kingdom, held together by its own unique lore that really gave it its own sense of individuality compared to what we've been with for majority of the series. I think everyone also enjoyed the growth between Asta and Ichika and her own demons that she had to confront, as well as seeing Asta learn a new form of strength that isn't just purely offensive, as Zeton can also be used as a form of counterattack, which I think is a really great approach. For somebody like Lucius who has soul and time magic, counterattacking that high level of power is going to be really useful, and I'm glad that's the approach Tabata is adding into the fray. I also want to just go ahead and say that I think it's really dumb how people kind of toggled on Ryu's Tengetsu and this whole argument over the design. Yes, Naruto popularized visual powers with the Sharingan, but I hope people realize that special eye designs and powers are going nowhere, and inspiration is something that plays a part in that. Instead of being ignorant, try to just enjoy the nod of one author to another, because I promise you, these authors are peers and colleagues and not enemies. Now, with all that being said, Judgment Day is here, and Lucius has arrived with not only his soldiers, but with a hell of a lot of audacity at that. We all knew that Lucius was having these paladins as his soldiers, and Morris being one of them came as no surprise given his unfortunate demise in the Spade War. What came next though had the entire fandom freaking out, because not only is Morgan back and having to fight Yami at that, but then the Silva family having to fight their mother? This man Tabata is hitting the jackpot with these setups. I also know that this is a small and insignificant detail to many, but I just love the fact that both the Spade and the Heart Kingdom were on red alert for this event. Granted, the fate of this battle literally determines the fate of the world, but it's just hype to pretty much see the Clover Kingdom be like, listen, I don't know what's going to happen to our kingdom, but just in case, y'all better get ready for war. On top of this, we are pretty much getting the Yuno versus Lucius fight, which is probably going to be the hardest fight of Yuno's life yet, and we still don't know all that he is capable of given his second grimoire. We also have Noelle most likely going to be scrapping with her mother, and those two fights alone are huge highlights for the arc already, and they haven't even truly begun yet. Now, the big kicker with all of this is that with the setup, the tension, and the situation coming to all hands on deck, we have no idea where Asta is. We can pretty much assume that he is most likely on his way, but there is no telling when he will pop up, and you are lying to yourself if you don't believe that his presence being a random variable right now is exciting. Comparing it to something like Deku's arrival to UA, for example, the main difference is that there was communication between everyone, and it was only a matter of time before the future #1 arrives to take down Shigaraki, but nobody even knows right now if Asta is even alive. The only thing we do know is that he is most likely on his way somehow, and even then, how he gets there is still not clear. I'd genuinely be surprised if he rides his sword all the way there, because god does that sound exhausting. Now, what I'm about to say is probably gonna rub some people the wrong way, but we have seen Naruto do the epic rival with Pain, Ichigo arriving within the Soul Society, and Asta has the potential to land a moment that is just as good as theirs. People gotta remember that Tabata took time off to cook, and I severely doubt he will mess this up, especially being a fan of Bleach. There is an insane amount of potential within this arc in terms of the in-game fights and developments, and even then, we still have no idea what the Black Bulls might do and if we get any more new strategies in this final portion of the series. I think my only concern, of course, and a valid one at that, is how Tabata seeks to deliver his consequences. We know that defeated paladins will most likely end up in a deep sleep state like Sister Lily, and for the deceased, they will be able to once again rest. But as for our heroes, I do wonder what sacrifices or defeats there will be in this final battle that will stay permanent. A lot of people were left with a slightly sour taste at the end of the Spade War, but this time, and given the power of the enemy at that, I genuinely feel like not everyone needs to walk out alive or all limbs intact with this one. I'm not some super death merchant or anything, but we're talking about an antagonist that has a godly level of power here. It cannot simply be a long hard fight just because it's the endgame. The greatest forms of victory do not come without sacrifice, and that is one thing Tabata has been kind of wavering with, and I hope he goes through with some moments. Even though we saw Jack get handled off the rip, I have a serious feeling he is not done yet, and if he is, well, that just means everything I just said is void. Regardless, if there is one piece of advice I'd offer Tabata, it's just to simply stay as consistent with your consequences and stakes as he has been with his build-up and developments. Seriously, anybody who was on Twitter at the end of the Spade War knows how bad it got, and I really rather not have a repeat. All things considered, the potential for this arc to deliver and etch its name as one of the greatest arcs in recent shonen is insane, and more than anything, I wanted to stick the landing. I want to see these fights, and I am definitely curious to see how somebody like Lucius is defeated because he is the last person who could be taken down solo. The craziest part about all of this is that even with this final battle taking place, we still have to establish a new Wizard King, and I think that is going to be a great development. Personally, I would make Asta fight Fuegoleon, Yuno fight Nozel, and have all rivals duke it out as one of the biggest rivalry matches since Naruto and Sasuke at the end. Though I would not be surprised if both the captains yield because both Asta and Yuno are in a league of their own. To put the cherry on top, we still have no idea when the anime will return, and trust me, you give the studio and Black Clover team prep time, they can do some serious stuff because that's just how passionate these people are when it comes to delivering a product even under these tough conditions. I know this video is pretty much constant praise for Black Clover, but like I said, things deserve credit when it's due, and once again, Black Clover has earned that from me. Of course, you are more than welcome to disagree, just please keep it civil in the comment section because at the end of the day, this is all about the appreciation towards the story. That's pretty much it from me though. As always, thank you for watching, and make sure to let me know all your thoughts and ideas about the final events of Black Clover in the comment section down below. Stay safe out there, and I will catch you guys in the next video.